Well, with all those feasting holidays coming up, I thought maybe the dolls would like to have a pumpkin pie to bring to dinner. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this project is. Alright, so the first challenge I had was to find something to use for a pie tin. And these are, what these are, they're the tins that these little ready crust, graham cracker ready crusts come in. You should be able to find these in your grocery store on the baking aisle near the other pre-made pie, graham cracker pie crusts. They're a good diameter. My problem with these is they're really deep. So they're a little out of scale, and by being so deep, it means we're using a lot more clay. So this week we are making pies that, we're going to make pumpkin pies that are not sliced. These are going to be pumpkin pies that are sitting on the counter, kind of, you know. If you've got a bakery scene or if you just want to put them out. So the first thing I'm going to do, and all you have to do to get those containers prepped is just wash them really well so they're nice and clean. And then I'm going to put a little bit of TLS on the bottom. It's translucent liquid Sculpey. And what that will do, I don't want this pie to come out, so I'm going to use a little bit of this between each baked layer. And I said layer, yes. We are going to bake this in several layers. In the first place, since it's not going to be sliced, I'm filling the bottom with filler clay. Now this week I'm using up some of my original Sculpey, which is an inexpensive, pretty soft clay that I keep on hand for these things. This would also be a good place to use up some of your scrap clay. And if you do polymer clay very often, you should have a scrap bag where you just dump the ends of mixed clay canes that you've made or mixed up colors that you've used and not used all of. So put the fresh clay on top of that TLS, and then just, now we have to push hard enough to get a good base, but not so hard that it distorts our pie tin. It's another reason I don't really like these. They're not the ideal container, but I'm having a lot of trouble finding anything else. And ignore my nails, they're a mess. My fingers are a mess because I've been doing a bunch of projects this week, and it's really hard on my fingers. I've got paint and nail polish and all kinds of stuff all over myself. So we're going to build up a base that's, well, I want about that much left. So what I did, I just took, I did knead this up a bit before I started so that it would be softened. And this clay is already fairly soft. I'm going to try and get this as smooth as I can. I'm supporting the outside of the pie plate with my fingers so that I don't distort it too much. And you could actually flatten this if you're not careful. My computer decided to finally restart. Sorry about that. Alright, a little more over there. Try and get it fairly straight, fairly level on the top, and then this needs to go into an oven. Since this is all Sculpey original, the center's, the center can be a little low because my pie needs to be a little lower in the center anyway. This is Sculpey original, so it bakes at 275. I'm going to bake this. This is it's about that thick, so I'm going to bake this for about 20 minutes. I want this to bake off. And then our top layers won't bake for nearly as long. So I'm going to bake this off and then get it cooled because it has to cool off to room temperature in order to go on to the next step. So when that's all done, I'll be back. Alright, our pie pan with the filler clay is all, it's been baked and it's cooled. Now you can see this is loose in there, but that's okay. We're not going to pop it out or anything. It's going to stay there. So I've rolled out a sheet of, this is just Primo Ecru colored clay. And you could use the pan that's in. I'm actually going to use an extra one of these pans since I've got it, because we need to make our crust. We're going to make it the same, about the same size. If you have a round cutter big enough, you could do that, but I don't have one quite big enough. Now we're going to ease this in. Yep, that's going to fit. Always check that you've got the right size before you put your TLS in. And because we are putting raw clay on top of baked clay, it's a good idea to put this in. I'm going to kind of scrape a little bit around the edges here too, just so that it adheres pretty well. I don't want this to come loose. I've even seen people spread this on the back side of their clay, but that gets kind of messy. And there's cat hair in this. There's pretty much cat hair in everything in my house, I'm pretty sure. All right, put this in. Taking the cat hair off. Jeez, got cat hair all over me. And other oddities that are on my table. I'm trying to do probably too many videos today. I'm trying to do like 4 videos for different channels, for 3 different channels today. And that's probably a little much. Okay. Bend it over. You're not even going to know when we're done. This doesn't go all the way down. Do that. And then take something that you can make. Now you could cut like the shapes of, like, say, leaves and put in there if you wanted to. I'm just going to put hair on that too. My gosh, it's hair. I'm really sorry about that. This is like, my desk is a mess. My table's a mess today. I'm just going to go through. You can spend as much or as little time as you want on this step, on getting this crust in just the way you want it. You can use a small leaf cutter and cut leaves and put around here. Now when you are adhering raw clay to raw clay, you typically don't need the TLS. That's only when you're adhering raw clay to a hard surface, like the pan or the pre-baked clay. And yeah, it's okay to bake your clay over and over. It doesn't hurt it. Alright, now I'm going to take just a small amount of this clay that's left. I'm going to put the rest of it back in the bag. And we're now going to make our pie filling. I'm going to use some of that ecru clay to tone down the color on my filling, because I feel like this filling color is just a little too bright. What I have here is Sculpey 3 in the color Sweet Potato. And Sweet Potato it's a good color, but it's a little on the bright side. It works in the smaller scales pretty well, but when I do this scale, it just gets a little too bright. So I'm going to work this together. I think I'm going to do that off camera. I'll get this all worked together so that it's a good consistent color, and then I'll be back. Alright, I have this rolled out, and I've rolled it out on the thickest setting of my pasta machine. And I have a little round cutter that is, it's about 3 inches in diameter, and it's a good size to cut my filling with, I found out. If I can just trying to get my head, or I can see what I'm doing without getting it in front of the camera. This way we've got a nice round filling. I'll put this in here, get this off to the side. We are going to, what is the blue? It's probably from my miniature video. Now I'm going to use ball stylus, kind of blend that together. Alright, now if you want to make some cracks on the top, you can do that. I'm not going to on this one. We do need to make this look like it's been baked, however. And for that, we're going to use mostly our normal colors with a few additions. I actually got a very light colored ochre type color. And I'm going to use this extra pan to scrape my chalk into so I don't make a mess all over my table. Because I've already got a mess all over my table, I don't need more of a mess. So I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to brush that over. My brush has still got dark color in it from when I was experimenting with this project the other day. Now I'm going to put my regular yellow ochre that I always use in with that. You can tell which colors I use the most because they're all ground down to almost nothing. And this also is toning down our orange just a little bit. Now, we need just a tiniest bit of a brown. I'm going to use this one, but I'm going to try to be very careful. Just the tiniest bit. I'm staying away from the red browns because they make this, they really highlight the orange and make the orange look very orangey, cartoony orange. A little more of the brown in there. Not up on the crust though now, just down on the pie itself. Not quite that much at once. Keep blending. I'm going to go over more where my yellow is. There we go. Now, I'm going to bake this. This time I'm going to drop my temperature down to about 250 degrees. And I'm going to bake this. This only needs about 10 minutes now because we don't really have that much thickness. Remember, our base is already baked. We just need to bake this fresh clay. So once this is baked and cooled off, I'll bring it back and we'll take a look at our finished pie. Alright, so this is actually still fairly warm. I just took it out of the oven, but I love how this turned out. I'm hoping the camera light is picking up the color correctly because this does look great. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Now this week I'm not going to put whipped cream on this one because this is just going to stay whole. It is my plan, if I can get more clay, because I am just about out of the sweet potato color and also almost out of the ecru. If I can get the clays I need, I am going to show you a cut version of the pie next week. So then I will put whipped cream on top of that one, on top of the individual pieces. But I love this. It turned out so cute. I hope you enjoyed the project. Be sure and check the blog post for photos. Check the Facebook page. That's usually the fastest way to get a hold of me, and I try to put a sneak peek of the project up on the Facebook page. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.